going to continue with our series on Chosen. We've heard about Jesus choosing the disciples to follow him, and David being chosen to be king, and how we can be chosen to be royalty in God's family. And Joshua, who was chosen to lead, and how we can help lead people to Jesus. Today we're going to talk about Peter, and he was chosen to tell others about Jesus. We're going to learn a little bit about Peter through the stories we read in the Bible. Peter was a fisherman, and so lots of the stories are about fishing. And one day there was a big crowd came to talk to Jesus and to listen to what he had to say. And Peter says, look, I'll get into the boat and I'll push out from shore, and it'll give you a better chance to talk to them. So that's what they did. And they talked for hours. And when Jesus had finished, he said to Peter, why don't you pull away from the shore a bit further and we'll go fishing? And Peter said, well, that's a waste of time because we've been out all night and now the men are back and they're mending the nets. Never mind, said Jesus, let's go. So they did. And sure enough, they hadn't been out long when this happened. There were hundreds and thousands of fish. Oh, they couldn't keep them all in the boat, so they had to call for help. And still the fish kept coming. Oh, dear me. And Jesus said, don't worry about it. We won't sink. I have something to teach you. And this is it. As the fish were jumping in and out of the boat, Jesus said to Peter, now listen, Peter, this is what I want you to do. I don't want you to fish just for fish. I want you to fish for people. I want you to tell people about me so that they have an opportunity of choosing to follow me in the way that you did. That's what I want you to learn from this. And then there was another time when Peter and his friends were out in the boat, and it grew very, very stormy. And while they were busy, they thought, oh dear, this is getting really bad. Peter stood up in the boat all of a sudden, and he said, you know, I think I can see somebody. And his friend said, see somebody? You mean out here in the middle of the water? Yes, he says, I think I can. And you know, sure enough, he could. It was this person. It was Jesus. And Jesus was walking on the water. And Peter said to his friends, you know, if I didn't think I was going mad, I would say that Jesus was walking on the water. It's Jesus. No. Well, it is Jesus. So Peter shouted, said, Jesus, if that's you, call for me to come and join you. So Jesus says, come along, Peter, step out of the boat and you come and meet me. And so Peter did. He stepped out of the boat and he started to walk towards Jesus. But you know, all of a sudden a big wave came and splashed Peter, and Peter, oh! And he looked around him, and as soon as he did that and took his eyes off Jesus, this happened. He started to sink. Poor Peter. Oh, Jesus! And Jesus held out his hand and lifted Peter up. And Jesus continued walking with Peter. And you know, that tells us something, isn't it? You know, when Peter took his eyes off Jesus, he sank, and it's a bit like us. And it tells us in the Bible, you know, that we should fix our eyes on Jesus. In Hebrews it says, let us fix our eyes on Jesus, because then he can lead us and we won't be bothered by the things that are round about us. And there's another story as well. Can you remember when Jesus was arrested? We heard about that last week. Well, Peter followed him to the house of the chief priest, and there were people gathered in the courtyard, And Peter joined them round a fire. And as they were talking, one said, "Aren't you one of Jesus' friends?" "Oh, no," said Peter. "Not me." A while later, another one said, "I'm sure I've seen you with Jesus." "Are you sure?" "No, it definitely wasn't me," said Peter. And then the third one said, "Yes, I'm positive I've seen you with Jesus and his disciples." "Absolutely not," said Peter. And when he said that, something happened. Something that Jesus had told him would happen. That one day he would deny him. And all of a sudden, he heard this. "Cock-a-doodle-doo! Cock-a-doodle-doo! Cock-a-doodle-doo!" And immediately Peter remembered those words. And he was so ashamed and so sad that he'd let Jesus down. But Jesus knows all about our feelings. And he knew about Peter's. But he still loved him. And he still had a task for him. And that's just like us. We'll not always get it right. In fact, sometimes we get it wrong more than we get it right. But there's one thing that we have to remember. Always remember. Just like Peter. We have to remember that all the time we need to fix our eyes on Jesus. Whatever it is that God wants us to do, let us just look to him, because it's him that gives us the strength and the power to do whatever he wants us to do.